Hi, this is Denise Bidock, and I'm going to be planning with you to make a weekly planner using OneNote. Let's get started. I am currently using OneNote 2016. This is the full desktop version. And if you are using the Windows app, or if you're using the app like on an iPad or even on your mobile phone, of course, it's going to look a little different. But the 2016 version has all the bells and whistles, and it's going to have all the features that we're going to be using today. So I am in a notebook here, and I'm just going to add a new page. And we are going to be working with April 9th through the 15th, 2018. When you start a page, you can put a title here. You don't have to. Whatever the first thing is on the page, that's going to become the name of the notebook over here on the left. And the date and the time, or the date and time that this was created, the page. So I'm just going to delete those out of there. And what I'm going to do is we're going to do a almost a page like you would see in a Happy Planner or an Erin Condren. So we're going to do a vertical weekly layout. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a table. I'm going to insert a table. I've got 7 rows or 7 columns for the week, of course, and then I'm going to have an extra row that we're going to use for either to-dos or notes or whatever you want to use it for. And I'm going to have 4 rows in my table. And so let's, I'm going to take, this is going to be the days of the week and the dates and the information, everything that's going to be that we're going to put in the table. And I'm just, for right now, I'm just going to, let's center justify all of it. So we're going to have the days. I'm going to have 9th, 10th. Okay. And I'm just going to do the days of the week. I've got the weekends at the end of the week just because that tends to work better for me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a macro that is part of the OneTastic suite, and you can download macros from it. And I'm using one under tables, and it's called column widths, and it's got a plus at the end of it. And so this lets you actually set the width of a column, which you can't do natively in the app or the program itself. I'm just going to make these 110 wide. And you cannot set the depth or the height of a row, but the only way you can do it is to come in here and just use carriage returns. And so if you come in right now and I hit enter, it's going to actually give me another row, which is not really what I want to do. So if you're just wanting to put extra rows in just to make this row taller, you can hit a space first and then start hitting your carriage returns to make it however deep you want to make it. So let's just start with our design here. So let's make all of this. I'm going to use a font called Magnolia Sky. And let's make it 14. Actually, these I'm going to make bigger. And we're going to use a blue and green theme. We're going to make this a spring or garden theme. So let's make those green. And this, I'm going to come into the Table Tools layout, and I'm going to choose a color for shading. And then I'm going to change the font color. Now I'm going to tell you, a lot of times, for some reason, if you have light colored font on a dark shaded background, if you're making other changes to your table, that font color will change. So don't spend a lot of time doing everything right now at the beginning stages. I would come back later and change the font color. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down in here, and I'm just going to add pictures at the bottom just to add a little bit of visual interest. So we're going to add pictures. And now, because I've already got the row column or the column width set, now if I go in here and I add these pictures in, they're going to only go as wide as the column is already set. So that's a good thing to set your column widths first. So let's just I'll come back in here and get rid of those extra carriage returns at the end when I get done. Put one down here at the end. I'm just clicking in here and backspacing out of here to get rid of all the extra space. Okay, so let's come in here on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to shade these a different color just to give them a little bit more interest. And this is going to be our notes or our to-do section, and I'm going to shade it a light pink. Okay, so let's come in here and actually all of this needs to be left aligned. Okay, so let's just come in here and let's say I've got an 8 o'clock appointment, staff meeting, and there's got to be a better font. Let's do noteworthy, and let's make it 10 point. Okay, so now because this is an event, I'm going to add a tag to it. This is I've just created one for a bullet journal event. And you don't have to be at the beginning of the line when you use a tag. You can be anywhere on that line. And so now I've got a meeting here. And let's say this is also going to be, I'm going to use a to-do tag. And this is trash day, so we got to make sure and get the trash out. And here we're going to have a bill that's due. And I've created a tag for finance, and with that it puts the $ symbol on there, and it also changes the font color. So these are just fun things that you can do with tags. If you create the tags and you're using them here in OneNote 2016, if you look at it in the Windows app or on the iPad or on your phone, you'll be able to see these, but you won't be able to add new ones. So whenever you're doing your setup, use it on the application and the device that you're going to use most often. And then you can use the others just to fill in appointments as the week goes by. So this is bills. We've got a birthday, another appointment, and another appointment, a note. So this one's birthday. That one's an event. That one's an event. And then I've got a note in here somewhere. There it is, note. Okay. And see, I've got that one where it changes it to blue. So those are just personal preference and stuff. So you can go through here and you can put in all the information that you want. And let's come over here on Friday, and we're going to insert an image here. Keep with our blue and green theme. We're going to use the blue, and you see that it fits just right within the cell. But if we have an appointment here and we want to use the tag, notice that it indents everything, and that includes the image that we have here. So let's just cut that out. I'm gonna come outside the table. Of course, I'm gonna have to shrink it in. And then I can drag it back over here, and it kind of, I can have it, off to the side. I can have it within the cell. And if you have an image that is, see it kind of snaps to a grid. If you want to make specific micro little changes, you can hold your Alt button down and drag it wherever you want. And it, even if it's just a tiny bit off, and make sure you let your mouse button up first before you let off on the Alt button, or else it'll snap back to the grid. So that's just a little handy tip for you there. So when you're adding your images, if you want them to be like, I can't put an image here next to the word, to the text. If I insert an image here, put a gardening one. If I insert an image, it's actually down below the word note. You see where the lines are. I can't put it next to it. So if I want to have it next to the text. These are kind of big images. And also the images that I'm using right now, these are PNG files. So they have a transparent background. So if you have something with, if you've got a white square back behind here, if you've got a JPEG or something like that, you won't be able to do this as easily, what I'm doing here. So now I can actually bring it up where it's actually next to the text. So that's when you're using images like this, a lot of times it's easier to do it outside of your table and then drag them into wherever you're wanting them. So let's just come in here, insert a picture. I'm going to use this little fence. Adjust it out a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to use the to-do tags over here. And this is going to be for tasks that I need to do that aren't specifically on a specific day. Wash sheets, mow grass, PowerPoint for church, wash truck, etc., etc. And you can make different tags. If you wanted to create, you could have tasks for yourself, or you could have tasks for your children, your spouse, whatever. You can have different tags for different people if you wanted to do it that way. So up here at the top, I'm going to make this to do, but instead of actually just typing it right in the box itself, I'm going to actually come over here on the side and I'm going to say to do. And let's make this Cooper Black. 20 ought to work. And I'm going to make it, the color that I want to make it. And in, let's make that a little bigger. In OneNote, you don't have many options to do with text, as far as you can't do shadows and different things. But what you can do is you can make the shadow. I just copied that and pasted it back again. So it's the exact same size, and all I'm doing is changing the color. And I'm going to drag that over the top, and again, I'm gonna use the Alt so I can drag it down just a little bit. So I'm dragging it down and to the right, and I'm gonna let up. And so now I've got the to-do, on top of there. And so I'm gonna go to the draw menu and hit the arrange button, and I'm gonna send it backward so that it's actually behind the blue text, so it looks like a shadow text. And I'm just gonna click off to the side anywhere, and I'm gonna drag up, and that way it includes both of those, the writing and the shadow. And then I'm gonna drag those together, and I'm gonna kind of just center them in this box. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a background image. So we're gonna insert a picture. Um, and let's come out here on the side. We don't mess with anything over there. And we're just gonna make this really big. That ought to work. And I'm gonna go to the Draw tab, and I'm gonna arrange, and I'm gonna send this to the back. This is not setting it as a background or anything, it's just sending it behind everything else that's on the page for now. So I can drag this over, get up here and see what we're doing. This particular one is a really big file, big image. Now that I've got it where I want it, I'm just going to right click on it and say set picture as background. So that way I don't have to worry about it moving. So when I did that, as you notice that the table actually has transparent background so you can see the image through it. But if it's too busy, if you're not wanting all that, then you can just come in here and just go to the layout and just make a white background if you want. Or if you don't want the borders in your table, so you can click on the hide borders. Of course, it's going to be hard to tell what's what. So if you wanted to, you can come in here and you can shade like every other column if you want. Just to kind of separate them. But for my purposes, I'm going to turn all the borders and stuff back on. So that's your basic table and everything else. So if you want, let's just add some more images. Let's just add. Got to make it where it's not quite so boring to look at, or it's just a box. Size it down. Now you can come in in the Draw tab on the rotate. You can actually flip an image. So if it needs to be one side or the other, you can flip an image. But that's really about all you can do. If you want to put something at an angle, like for instance, this glove was actually, that is the way the image is. If you want to rotate other images, like if you wanted to, make her at an angle, you could put your image into Word and arrange it the way you want, and then you can, copy and paste it into here, and it will keep that rotation, whatever you put in it. So that's one way to get it. So so now that you've got your table, you can come in here throughout the week and you can add new appointments, or you can, like if this is let's come in here and let's add gym day, 5 p.m. We're going to go to the gym. I'm just going to use the keyboard here on my laptop, and I'm going to add a shoe in there just to make it, just to give it some more interest. And you can, we'll make that an appointment. So if you wanted to, you can, you can add images of that. And if you've got a stylus or something, you can come in here and you can write, let's just draw, 30 minutes on the treadmill. So you can combine text, you can combine images, everything else. When you're working with OneNote, it takes a little practice to learn kind of the ins and outs of what you can and what you can't do, and then figure out a way to get around it. So here's our weekly layout, and I'll hide the tabs just so you can see the whole thing. And that is our weekly layout. So if you like this video, I'd appreciate it if you'd give it a thumbs up down below, and you can subscribe to this channel, and I will try to do more videos in the upcoming weeks, months, whatever. And if you need more inspiration, where I found some of the information that I've used here is we have a Facebook group, and it's called OneNote Bullet Planning. And you can go there, and it is owned by Michelle Christensen, and she's also a great source for OneNote. And I appreciate you stopping by.